Hey artists, and welcome back to Art with Sienna and Olivia. In today's Procreate tutorial, we're going to create a cute little pond scene with a mama duck and her ducklings swimming around some lily pads. I'll show you how to duplicate elements in your artwork, which is super helpful when you want to quickly copy things like ducklings, lily pads, or any part of your scene. I'll also walk you through using things like layers to keep everything organized, and we'll add a few simple shading and texture techniques to bring the water and lily pads to life. It's a fun and beginner-friendly project with a light, playful vibe. So grab your iPad, open up your Procreate app, and let's bring this little pond scene to life together. Alright, first things first, we're going to set up a new canvas. So tap the plus in the top right corner. And then we're going to start by drawing the water. So I'm going to go on my color dot right here, go to disc, and then I've made a color palette for this drawing, and if you want to have the color palette, then drop down in the description below, and the description and the link will be there in the description. So the first color we're going to use is the first color, and for our brush, we're going to use in the airbrushing, and let's use the soft brush. So we're going to start by top to bottom, and we're going to use light to dark. So we're just going to first go like this for the top layer, then this one. Make sure it's a straight line. Put the sides down a bit, that's good. And then add the darkest color at the bottom, since that's where the deepest was. We need to zoom out our canvas to see if there's any white spots like over here. Grab this color. So now we have our water, but it's not quite our water yet because we're going to have to Gaussian blur it. So Gaussian blur it like this. And then to make it have more texture, we're going to go to noise and just make it have a bit more like particles in the water almost. Not all the way, because that does not look good. But maybe let's go for 10%. I think that's good. And now we're going to start with our lily pads. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our color, which is this green, the fourth color, in the first row. And now we're going to make our first lily pad. So what we're going to do is for our brush, now we're going to go to the calligraphy section, and we're going to use the monoline brush. I have a lot of different versions. We're going to just use the default version. And now we are going to draw our first lily pad, and we want to make it a bit big, not this big. Well, let's just make it smaller. And now we can just make it into an ellipse like this, and now you can see up here it says ellipse. And now you just make it a bit flatter, more of a 3D shape. Put it right here, maybe rotate a bit of it. Right over here. That looks good. And then we can fill the color in. And then let's duplicate that layer. And then put it over here. Maybe make it a bit smaller. And then put it over here. And then you can just keep doing these until you feel like there's enough. And then also remember that when we're duplicating our lily pads, we want to make sure that our ducklings still have some space in the lily pads to swim. So it doesn't technically mean that right here, like if I do the ducklings right here, then they can't go over here. We're not going to think like that, but we're going to think that we have to have space for all of them in the middle. So just do like that. We can't put them all the way over here because then the ducklings are not gonna like fit in there. Come over there. enough lily pads. And now we can just merge all the lily pads layer together, and then we can start making the cut in the lily pads. So just do that for all of them, and then for the cut, we're gonna maybe do it for some of them, but we have to make them a bit more on the, like right here. Like you see how I'm not doing it all the way over here, because then it's not gonna look 3D, but if I do it all the way over here, then it's gonna look like it's more flat and all the water. Like for example, like this one, it looks a bit, that actually looks good. And then for this one, always put it lower. So that's a tip for you guys. If you guys want to make your drawings, or if you're ever making like a lily pad scene like this one, or even just your own, then you can always keep that in mind. It's looking pretty good. Actually, I'm going to keep this one having no of these cuts. Like this one, I'm going to have a cut. Like this one, I'm not going to have a cut. It's just going to be like that. This one, I'm not going to have a cut. So like I'm saying, just like do some of them having a cut, some of them not, whatever you want. Or rhymes. There. I think that looks really good. And now for the fun part, we're going to draw our ducklings. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th color in the first row. And we're going to make a shape almost like that. And then maybe over here on the top, we can make it a bit more rounded. Not so flat, because this is the duck's head. And now we can just make this a bit more thin, the head. And so this one, like that. And then even this one, like that. So if we do it, it doesn't look so amazing. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make a line that goes like this. Just a line from this part, like that. And now you can see why it looks weird, because when we fold it here, it's not in exactly like right here. So we want to make this but like corner come here, almost like that. And then we can just make minor edits, like make this more rounded, like that, and then just erase this line that comes this, just like that. Our duckling looks a bit fat, but that's fine. And then we can do like that. Perfect. And then we can now make the beak. So what we're going to do is grab this color. It's the one, so this is probably the 7th color in the first row. And we're just going to make a curve that goes like this. And then we're going to make a line that goes like that, but not too long. And just color that in. What we can do is actually make it a bit thicker. And maybe we can just go to the selection tool and then go to automatic. And then what we're going to do with this is I want to move just the beak, but since the beak is on the layer of the duck, we're going to move the whole thing. So what automatic does is we can just select this one thing, the beak, and then move it. So it's more like that, and then we can grab this color and then fill it in, just like that. And then for the eye, we're gonna grab this color right here, and then just put an eye like that. Maybe more right over here. That looks good. And then for the wing, we're going to, actually what I want to do first, I feel like this is too out, I may say. too fat. Birds are more slim. Let's grab for our brush pen for our eraser pen. That looks better. And then for the wing, we're going to grab this color right here. And then make a line that goes up and then like that. And now this looks really good. And we're just going to move it over here. And then let's duplicate, okay, so what we're going to do is go to layers. And then our duckling is on our layer 3. And what we're going to do is slide to the left and then press on duplicate. So what now that means is if we go to the move and transform tool, which is the arrow right here, and if we move it, and now it's a new duckling. So we have our new duckling. So what we're going to do is just make it smaller. And we're going to use the same duckling, but this is where it gets exciting. We're going to just put it right here. So it looks like it's a smaller duckling. Isn't that just so good? I love that about this drawing. It's so cool. I love that. That looks so good. So now we're just going to merge all the layers together and then just make it a bit bigger. Just like that. And what we want to do is, so if we want to make a reflection, you can kind of see that this lily pad is in the way of this one's reflection. So what we want to do is go to our layer 2, go to the selection tool, and then let's use automatic, the new tool you just learned about, and just move it a bit more down. We're not going to delete it, but we're just going to move it a bit down, just like this one. And then we can make a new layer on top of layer 2. And then let's grab this white for the reflection of the water. Or we could grab this blue. Yep, this is good. And then just make the little waves that are around the duck. Just like that one. Same for this. Maybe connect these lines just like that. And then maybe this is a smaller duckling, so it's not going to have so many like that. That looks really good. And now I want to go in layer 3 and then duplicate that layer again. And then let's go to the moving transform tool. And then we're going to say flip vertical. And then move it down. Just like this. Okay, and then let's delete these other 2 ducklings. And then now you see that we have our reflection of the mama duckling. So first what we're going to do is Gaussian, or actually, let's put down the opacity like that. And then go to the freeform tool on the move and transform and just make it more flatter. And then go to the smudge tool, and then go to calligraphy and let's use brush pen. Actually, let's use water pen right over here. And then just slowly make these little streaks. Oops. Just like this. Like that, and then we can just Gaussian blur it a bit, just like that. And then actually let's first Gaussian blur it, but then let's put the opacity a bit more up, like that. Perfect, so we got our first reflection, and now we're going to do these ducklings reflections. Flip vertical, and then we're going to do this ducklings now. Say the old one or the younger one, whichever one you want. And now we can first lower the opacity and then make it flatter with the freeform tool. Like that. And then use these streaks. What we can use actually for this one, let's use the monoline brush. Yeah, this is a really good brush for this type of stuff. And then remember, we Gaussian blur it a bit. And then put up the opacity or down. Let's Let's move it so we can see it. That looks good. And then finally for this one, this little duckling, I use just like that. And then delete these two. And then what's the first step? Lower the opacity. And then we're going to make the reflection more flat. And then we're going to make the streaks. Like that. And then Gaussian blur it. And I don't think we're going to lower the opacity on this one. I think it looks just good like this. And then if you want, you can always just blur these little ways a bit. I don't think it looks that great, but if you guys want to, it actually looks pretty good. Yeah, I think it adds a lot, but I'm gonna keep it like this for now. And there you guys have it. You created your very own pond scene with a mama duck and her little ducklings. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss a new tutorial. And be sure to check out some of our other fun beginner Procreate videos we have, like this one right here. Thank you so much for drawing with me today, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!